And we're gonna go ahead and start with a roll call. Here. 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 Present. All right, we need a motion to excuse Member Martinez.
Make a motion to excuse Tony Martinez.
We have a motion by Mr. Hernandez, second by Mr. Beas. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Now please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation by Luis.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let us pray. Lord, we thank you for bringing us together. We thank you for everything we have, and we thank you for all you allow us to do in our personal and professional lives. Please guide our meeting today and let us embrace your directions so that we may conclude with meaningful objectives for all concerned. In your name we trust, and in you we believe. Amen.
Amen.
We'll continue with the Director's Administrative Report and line item A, crossings and revenues for May 2023.
Good afternoon, Chairman, board members, city officials. For the record, Fred Brown, Director of Operations at the Pharr Bridge. I'd like to present the crossings and revenues for the month of May, fiscal year 2022-2023. On page number 3, we have southbound car crossings. These are cars that are traveling from the U.S. to Mexico through the Pharr Bridge. For the month of May, we crossed a total of 41,031 cars, which represents a decrease of 1,188, or a decrease of 2.81%. Also, I'd like to show you the other crossings from other ports of entry for southbound car crossings. We have Gateway, a decrease of 1,832. Veteran Los Tomates, an increase of 12,308. Free Trade Los Indios, a decrease of 888. The combination of all three bridges, an increase of 9,588. Eagle Pass, they had an increase of 28,076 cars. Laredo, an increase of 27,758. McAllen Hidalgo, an increase of 15,984. And Zaldúas, an increase of 13,829. A combination of both bridges, 29,813, an increase of 9%. Progreso Bridge, a decrease of 465 cars. Donna Bridge, an increase of 6,545. Pharr Bridge, again, a decrease of 1,188 cars. Page number 4, we have the southbound truck crossings. These are trucks that are traveling from U.S. to Mexico through the Pharr Bridge. For the month of May, we crossed a total of 70,821 trucks, which represents an increase of 9,070 trucks, or an increase of 14.69% for the month of May. Overall, from October to May, we crossed a total of 509,270 trucks, or an increase of 4,982, or an increase of 0.099%. Also, I'd like to present other crossings for trucks from other ports of entry. These are southbound truck crossings. We have Veterans, 420 increase. Free Trade Los Indios, an increase of 44 trucks. A combination of both bridges, an increase of 464 trucks. Eagle Pass, they had an increase of 3,189. Laredo, an increase of 17,498. Pharr Bridge, we had an increase of 9,070 trucks. Progreso Bridge, they had a decrease of 616 trucks. And Zaldúas, they had an increase of 1,580 trucks for the month of May. On page number 5, we have the northbound truck crossing. These are trucks that are traveling from Mexico through the Pharr Bridge, from Mexico to the U.S. Total crossings for the month of May, we crossed a total of 66,352 crossings, which represents an increase of 9,833 more trucks, or an increase of 17.40% for the month of May. On the agriculture side, at the Pharr International Bridge, we crossed a total of 20,459 crossings for, for the month of May, representing 31% of all the crossings that are coming from Mexico to the U.S. As well, on the agriculture side, the Pharr International Bridge showed an increase of 3,121 crossings, or an increase of 18% compared to last year, same month. Page number 6, we have the southbound and northbound truck crossings. For the month of May, we crossed a total of 137,173 crossings, which represents an increase of 18,803 trucks, or an increase of 15.98%. On page number 7, we have the revenues. Total revenues for the month of May, we collected a total of $1,665,946, which represents an increase of $242,722.20, or an increase of 17.5%. Overall, from October to May, we collected a total of $12,234,671, which represents an increase of $765,901, or an increase of 6.68%. And last but not least, page number 8, we have the crossings by axles. For the month of May, we crossed a total on cars, 40,858, two-axle trucks, 3,103, three-axle trucks, 4,475, four axles, 1,312, five axles, 47,785, six axle, 14,143. Mobile homes, we crossed 6, wide loads, 123, special crossings 47, which represents a total crossing of 111,852 crossings for the month of May. Chairman, this concludes my report for the southbound cars and truck crossings for the month of May. If you have any questions?
Have any questions? Got a big jump, May and
Yes. Just, I'd like to mention that for the month of June, we're gonna have a weak month due to the fact that on the inspection for DPS, inspection that we have from the State Department on the Mexican side, on the tankers. So we're gonna be pretty sure having a weak month for the month of June on truck crossings.
Is that mainly the fuel tankers crossing, Fred?
Mainly, yes, sir. This month, we averaged a total of over 14,000 six-axle tankers for the month of June. So far, for the month of, for the month of May. For the month of June, so far, we have total for this month, on the 3 weeks, a total of 5,000 crossings. So it's gonna be, we had a decrease. Again, due to the fact on the inspection from DPS and the inspection from the State Department on the Mexican side.
thank you, Fred.
Thank you, yes, sir.
Continue with line item B, which is finance report for April 2023.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, city administrators, for the record, Luis Bazan, Bridge Director. We do have Carla Saavedra, our Finance Director for the city, for a complete report if there's any technical questions, but we do have Eddie Gutierrez, our financial consultant, to give a full scope of where we stand right now.
Good afternoon, board members. For the record, Eddie Gutierrez with Bluestone Capital Solutions, giving the financial report for April of 2023. You have the, where's it? The bridge revenues, as you can see, we had total revenues of 11,290,000. Of that, 90% consisted of the toll fees, which is 10,181,000. Coming in number 2 is the interest from the bond proceeds, which is about 805,000. And then you have at 1% the rents of 145,000, and then you have 101 from surcharges from the credit cards. Total was again 11,290, about 11,290,000. Total expenses, we had 12,665,000 approximately. The majority of that, 75 being from general fund transfers. Then you had debt service at about almost 10% at 1,192,000. And then you had personnel at about 6.3%, which was about almost 800,000 on that year to date. Revenues over expenses, there's a deficit of 1,374,000. Like I said, most of that is being worked with the projects that we have ongoing right now and the transfers in from the general funds. Transfers out, I'm sorry. Looking at toll collections, the budgeted for year to date should be at about 10,287,000. Year to date, actual is 10,181,000. When we compare that to last year, same time through April, we were supposed to, last year we were at 9,771,000, which is about a 4% increase of what we've seen. So finally, we surpassed that. Like I said, like Fred was saying, we might have a weak month in June, which would put us back in par of what we did last year. This is the bridge expenditures through April of 2023. We should be at about 58 to about 60% of total expenditures. What's driving this, where we're up to actually at 66%, is again the transfer outs. Other than that, it's the insurance and some other small accounts that we have in there. But most overall, the operating expenses are within budget right now. This is our bridge bond debt. About 70% goes to the bridge expansion, and then the other 30%, the 16 million, go to DAP 15 and DAP 16 on that. And then the southbound recapture rate. This is historical. Like we said, we're looking back at historical what we've done. The blue bars are actually the northbound traffic, the trucks that are crossing northbound. The yellow indicates that that's our southbound trucks. As you can see, throughout the years, going back to 2014, we had more northbound trucks crossing than we had southbound. We turned that tide in 2021, and as you can see, we've maintained where we have more southbound trucks crossing across. So that's flipped over the recapture rate to about 103. So we're actually crossing more southbound trucks than we have in the past. Year to date for May, you can see that we're at 106% averaging year to date on the months that we had. This is looking at year to date for 2023. As you can see, we've maintained all but February we've been crossing more southbound trucks. I mean, there are more southbound trucks than we have northbound trucks. Like I said, just restating that we're averaging about 106% recapture rate on this. This concludes my report. If you have any questions or comments, I'm willing to entertain that at this time. Thank you all for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you.
There's no other questions. We'll move to the engineering report.
Yes, sir. We do have Ruben Alfaro, our city engineer, to give a full report on where we stand on our projects.
Thank you, Luis. Good afternoon, Chairman, members of the board. I'll give you a brief report of the projects that are ongoing on the bridge. We'll start with DAP 15. Recent activity on May 19th. The testing and startup of the AC systems at the booths was completed with no problems. On June 1st, the adjustment of the countertops to the proper height was completed. GSA and CBP pointed out that there was a discrepancy on the height, so we adjusted that for them, and it's been completed. There was an incorrect plywood that was installed. It wasn't fire rated at the top of the booth, so that got replaced with the proper fire rated plywood, and that was completed for both the northbound lanes and the second BSAF exit on June 9th. After that, the plastic vapor barrier wrap was installed and completed also for both the northbound lane expansion and the second BSAF exit. That's all the activity that's been on DAP 15. They're finalizing the project. We expect a completion date of July 10th, so we're pretty close. Time to date is 952 days, which is 134%. And we have placed to date 97% of the funds. There's been no new pay-ups because they're working on little details, so those they wait to send the pay-ups at the end. For the second BSAF exit as well, we're at 952 days, 114%, and 4.1 million, which is 92%, around 92% for the contract time, the contract amount. Sorry. For DAP 16, we're on the same point. We're expecting the tip to be approved by FHWA pretty soon. We have 2 of the 3 AFA executed, so we're just waiting on that one to get approved. That way TxDOT can go and execute that AFA. We're still expecting a letting date of fall 2023. For the International Bridge expansion, a new 60% draft DA was submitted to FHWA, TxDOT, and all the other review agencies on May 26th. We also performed a visit to the Mexico Beam construction plant on June 22nd. Everything looked good. Everything is going. They're working on 3 beams per day. They're completing 3 beams per day, and they're expecting to double their production on July. So they'll start on six beams per day starting July. They have a good operation. Everything looked clean. Everything looks good. We have a full report available from our design engineer in case you guys want to look at it. But everything is going as planned in Mexico. For this project, we expect to be ready to let on September of 2023, but we're getting environmental clearance on spring, and we expect construction completion of fall of 2025. And that concludes my presentation. Any
No more
questions?
questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ruben.
We'll continue with director's report.
Yes, sir. So as you can see, projects are moving forward. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. And you think about it, we're already halfway through this year, and we're already about to conclude this fiscal year. So things have been moving fast. We're happy the team has been moving forward. The plans are being executed, but there's a lot of more work to be done. And then the fun begins, right? But with that, I have a few reports, and one of them is going to be Caxcan. He's our engineer from Mexico for the bridge expansion on the Mexico side. And he's here today. He got in this morning from Mexico City, and he will be giving you a full scope, a full update on what's going on in Mexico. As Ruben mentioned, they were there on the 22nd. I was not here. I was at I think in Monterrey or somewhere else in another business trip, because we've been traveling for the past 3 weeks doing promotional travel for the bridge. So it's nonstop, but we do have Javier Montero here to give you a full, again, update on what's going on in Mexico, and things are, moving forward fast. Javier.
Buenos días, miembros del consejo, asistentes. Pues quiero comentarles que a partir del mes de mayo que inició la construcción del puente con la empresa Coconal, que es la encargada de la ejecución del proyecto, hemos estado en contacto con ellos, puesto que surgen dudas y siempre hay que estar en el asesoramiento técnico a la empresa. A partir de esa fecha, pues hemos estado pendientes a través de reuniones presenciales en el sitio de la obra, en la Ciudad de México, con el cuerpo de ingenieros de la empresa, y a través de reuniones telefónicas, donde hemos ido aclarando dudas del proyecto, ya que tuvimos una actualización por parte de la empresa ejecutora del lado de Estados Unidos, SCA, Sigmilky, donde hubo diferencias con el proyecto mexicano, las cuales se están solventando para que queden tal cual. O sea, nosotros presentamos el proyecto antes, sin embargo, hicimos el compromiso de que cada actualización, lo que llevara mejoras al puente, se aplicaría de los dos lados. Entonces, en esa parte hemos estado asesorando a la empresa Coconal, así como a Banobras, que es el operador del puente y concesionario. Y de esta manera, a partir del 3 de mayo y cada lunes de cada semana, y cuando se requiere hasta 2 veces, hemos tenido continuamente reuniones. También hemos estado al pendiente de actualizaciones en cuanto a permisos conjuntamente con la ciudad y el puente. Sí, para todos estos permisos que se van venciendo o actualizaciones de normas que hay que aplicar, estar pendientes y que no se nos pase el tiempo. Es un proceso muy similar al que ocurre aquí en Estados Unidos. Esta fue la primera visita que tuvimos, conociendo los patios de la empresa Coconal. Asimismo, pues en los temas que se han tratado de dudas en cuanto al armado de las traves, algunos dispositivos especiales que la empresa nos consultó. Vamos, algunos se hicieron telefónicamente, otros acudimos ahí a los patios de armado. Y como comentaba el ingeniero de la ciudad, van a un ritmo de 3 traves coladas diariamente. Y a partir del próximo mes empezarán con 6 piezas hasta llegar al número de piezas requeridas. Asimismo, me informan que a partir del próximo mes se iniciarán ya con la perforación y con trabajos de campo para construcción de pilas y columnas
No,
y seguir de acuerdo en el programa estipulado.
por ejemplo, hacer 3 al día es normal o promedio, o las 6 es promedio, o qué es
Es
lo que es.
promedio porque les sugerí que no fabricaran más hasta no tener las pruebas de laboratorio. Lo mismo va a ocurrir en el lado americano. O sea, tenemos algunas piezas que en caso de que alguna de ellas resultara defectuosa, los materiales de mala calidad o diferente a lo que pensamos, no se tengan que desechar más piezas. Hasta el momento no ha habido ningún comentario, no hay ninguna observación y va bien. Entonces esperamos que a partir del próximo mes, que ya inicia la próxima semana, puedan ya tomar un ritmo de trabajo más rápido para irse acercando al programa para que cuando ya tengan pilas y cabezales poder ir colocando de acuerdo al ritmo. Vamos, es normal. Y pues si hay alguna duda, aquí estoy a sus órdenes.
Any other questions? No. Muchas gracias.
Gracias a ustedes.
Sí, gracias.
Hasta luego.
Gracias de nuevo, Javier. So in short, just a quick summary, as we've always known, things have been moving really fast in Mexico because that's where we started with this project. When we started with our Grupo Base or our interagency working group, this was in Mexico because of the work that had been done at the aduana. And I've mentioned it before many times, the record-breaking time from March 2017 to October 2018 to get the aduana modernized and ready for what it is right now. So the next step is this, but also there's a couple of other projects that were not mentioned right now, and that's phase 2. Phase 2 is the expansion of the roadway leading to the aduana from the major corridors in Reynosa. I'm not gonna, but that's part of this bridge expansion as well. So when we talk bridge expansion, we talk about all the projects that are taking place, the DAP 15, the DAP 16, but more importantly, this physical bridge expansion. And it's necessary to say that because I think out there in the real world, there's a misconception that there's no other bridge. There's not another body of bridge that's being built. This is another 4 lanes of traffic, as I've mentioned before. It's a 3 miles in length or 5 kilometers in length. That's 4 additional lanes. It's going to have 2 fast lanes for CTPAT, for certified commercial traffic, officially from Mexico to the US. So obviously that's going to reduce wait times and eventually eliminate wait times. We're not just looking to reduce wait times, but to eliminate wait times at the end of the day. So we're really excited about this project. On the US side, as we all know, is a little bit different. The environmental clearance just takes a little bit longer. The interagency working group meeting takes place once a month. And we continue to work with our engineers on the US side, but the environmental clearance, as they mentioned, is not going to be until spring of 2024. By that time, obviously, Mexico will be a little bit more progressive or advanced in their project, but we will catch up eventually. And we want to get this thing done again by October of 2025, the entire thing.
Just to add to what you said, obviously there's the new bridge being built, which is additional 4 lanes. And then there's 2 lanes added to the connector from the aduana on
Correct.
each side, if I'm not mistaken,
Mhm.
right?
Yes,
Which is basically a frontage road to what is
Pretty
already
much.
existing.
yes.
And
So
the
that front,
existing one has already been remodeled.
yes, that's already been done. The frontage road that you speak of is basically a separation. So it's going to be como le llaman, una lateral, as they say in Spanish. And basically that's when you're going to have your separation of your empties, your certifieds, and your full commercial traffic. At the end of the day, once we have the full advantage, the full benefit of CTPAT or the fast lanes at the bridge, you're going to get more companies certified. That's going to be the biggest bang for their buck, because right now we don't have that full advantage or that full benefit. We have nothing but a booth right now. You still have to exit the bridge, get down into the pre-primaries before you can actually take advantage of that. But once we have this officially from Mexico to the US, that'll be a huge advantage to the trade, to incentivize those that are not yet certified to certify their entire supply chain. Right now it's like 30, 35, I think it's like 30% right now. So with that being said, again, a lot of the work that's done in Mexico More than anything this year, everybody knows Ezequiel Ordóñez. He is our liaison in Mexico. A lot of the work that has been done here in the last few years has been more on the lobbying side, more so than marketing. Even though our strategic plan is being put forth right now, and we continue to, to strategize and to get engaged with a lot of these organizations from all the industries that we service at this bridge, Ezequiel has been hard at work along with the team to make sure that these things get done in Mexico. So with that, I'd like to invite Ezequiel Ordóñez to give you a quick presentation on what's been going on in Mexico. I think he's got like 30 slides, but we're gonna reduce it. We're gonna just kind of go quickly through. You guys have seen the presentations before. It's just a lot of pictures, but it kind of shows in the big picture of what's really going on in Mexico. A lot of what is done over there, again, more on the lobbying side and some marketing for this year. Ezequiel.
Buenas tardes. Va a ser breve, no van a ser las 30 y tantos. Solamente voy a hacer la descripción de lo principal, pero ya al final nada más les comento lo que es. Buenas tardes. Buenas tardes, Chairman. Buenas tardes, miembros del Consejo. Gracias por su atención y me permito presentarles, de acuerdo a mi contrato con la ciudad, por medio del puente internacional de Pharr, presentarles una pequeña descripción de lo que hemos concretado por lo menos en 5 o 6 meses. Dice Luis que son 30, pero eran como 100. Entonces, pero eso significa que pues estamos bastante ocupados con el equipo del puente, ¿verdad? Tanto en el área de operaciones como en el área de comercio con el administrativo y la dirección. Eso significa que todos estamos dando y buscando los recursos para hacer el segundo cuerpo, ¿verdad? Y ese es el punto, ¿verdad? Bueno, no les voy a poner la presentación porque la verdad es que son bastantes slides, pero les voy a dar en concreto lo que es lo que hemos estado desarrollando.
Si quieres nada más
Sí, lo voy a pasar nada más. Sí. En los eventos, seminarios y foros y expos dentro de lo que hemos hecho en promoción, pues hemos participado en 5 o 6 meses, casi en 12 proyectos de expos, seminarios en México y unos en Estados Unidos, invitados también por el gobierno del estado tejano. Participamos en diferentes sectores: perecedero, comercio exterior, logística, industrial, autotransportes, energía, gas, autopartes y automotriz. En donde estuvimos participando en diferentes regiones y en diferentes estados. A lo que vamos es que diversificamos lo que son los sectores y las regiones o los estados en México. En México hemos participado en Guadalajara, Matamoros, Monterrey, San Pedro, Ciudad de México, en el Estado de México, en Tamaulipas, Texas, Austin, Laredo, Brownsville. Con esto les puedo decir que hemos participado con ellos, hemos trabajado con varias asociaciones y con los gobiernos. Las empresas recibidas aquí en la ciudad de Pharr, en el puente, han sido aproximadamente 12, como han sido dependencias del gobierno federal, gobierno del estado, municipales, así como empresas y corporaciones que nos han estado visitando. Lo que estoy poniendo ahí son unos ejemplos de cómo estamos recibiendo y cómo estamos participando en varios lugares. En el lobbying, la gestión en la Ciudad de México y así como en el gobierno del estado de Tamaulipas, hemos tenido 16 visitas de 16 dependencias o de 16 representantes del gobierno federal aquí en la ciudad y en el puente, obviamente. En las visitas hemos tenido 18 dependencias federales y regionales. Sostuvimos reuniones con el gobierno del estado, con el gobernador, 13 en Tamaulipas, en Ciudad Victoria, tanto allá como aquí. Y para darle seguimiento a nuestro proyecto El Segundo Cuerpo, así como al proyecto de la modernización del acceso a la aduana, en el cual en el próximo reporte que voy a brindarles, ya ahí les vamos a dar exactamente cómo estamos desarrollando estos 2 proyectos para que no se detengan. Realmente empezamos hace 4 años y hace 3 años tenemos los proyectos establecidos. Como en Estados Unidos pasa, hay que actualizar, hay que modernizar y hay que darle seguimiento para que no se vaya a faltar o se vayan a detener los proyectos que estamos desarrollando en México. Y bueno, este es un ejemplo de todos los lugares donde hemos estado, en México, en Monterrey, San Pedro, Reynosa, con quien estamos trabajando, compañía de DX, con ANAM, hemos trabajado con Index, que nos premiaron el año pasado por apoyar una fundación para apoyo al cáncer. Estuvimos en Tamaulipas con la SCT, capítulo Tamaulipas. Estuvimos también con Desarrollo Económico. Desarrollo Económico ha estado trabajando con nosotros, nos ha visitado cerca de 3 o 4 veces. Obras públicas para desarrollar lo que es el acceso a la aduana. Estuvimos en Austin para conocer a Jane Nelson, que es la nueva secretaria de Estado. Recibimos a Canacar también y con gobierno del Estado. Recibimos al embajador de United Kingdom. Bueno, lo recibió el alcalde en nuestro puente y vino a preguntarnos cómo estamos, ¿no? Qué estamos desarrollando y cómo estamos desarrollando el comercio exterior. Bueno, eso es en breve, por eso las slides es más que todo es como que el soporte, lo que les estoy comentando al principio, ¿verdad? Si tienen alguna pregunta, digo, estoy para servirles. Digo, seguimos trabajando durante todo el año fiscal y preparando todos los proyectos y foros y expos que tenemos a nivel nacional en México y en Estados Unidos. ¿Alguna duda?
Un comentario nomás, así que ¿cómo miras cuando vas a estos expos? ¿Miras a buena respuesta, en interés para?
Pues
Para esta
actualmente, actualmente ya nos ubican perfectamente como un puente internacional, ¿verdad? Como un puente en desarrollo. Hace 14, 15 años pensaban todos que el puente de Pharr era de McAllen o del estado, ¿verdad? O de Hidalgo. Actualmente, con la labor que ha hecho el equipo del puente y la dirección y cómo, cómo ha sido estratégicamente la mercadotecnia, por eso son los sectores, las regiones a que hemos atacado, ¿verdad? Actualmente la gente ya piensa, cuando va a pasar para Estados Unidos, de México hacia acá, ya piensa Laredo, segunda opción, Pharr. So, lo que hemos estado trabajando durante los años anteriores es que primero darle una identidad a nuestro puente como comercio exterior y segundo, como un full service en ambos sentidos. Bueno, un ejemplo es los proyectos que están desarrollándose tanto en Pharr como en Reynosa, de lo que son trocaderos o parques industriales nuevos, paradores, y es la confianza que han tenido los nuevos inversionistas que están desarrollando en Pharr, mexicanos, y tanto tejanos como de California o Florida. Eso es lo que, digo, es mi percepción en el lado mexicano. Y lo vengo a fundamentar cuando veo cómo es el desarrollo industrial, ya sea de perecedero o industria, en lo que es la zona sur de Pharr. Digo, me tiré mucho rollo, pero digo, eso es lo que vemos, ¿no? Y es lo que ya se ha sido trabajando con una estrategia de marketing.
Estás viendo buenos resultados en esa parte.
Pues pienso yo que los números nos están dando la razón, ¿verdad? Y yo creo que la receta que empezamos hace 10, 15 años, pues está funcionando. Lo único que tenemos o que está haciendo la administración actual es afinar y mejorar. Entonces eso es lo que nos da mayor calidad, presencia y responsabilidad ante todos los inversionistas, tanto mexicano, precedero, industrial. Eso es lo que nos ha estado beneficiando. Y yo pienso que si están en el área del sur, se podrán tocar el tema o podrán ver cómo los mismos inversionistas están viendo lo que está desarrollando, el crecimiento y la economía, ¿verdad? Digo, y el trabajo que se ha hecho, ¿verdad?
Oye, tienes razón, porque o sea, salías a vender, no nada más los servicios del puente, pero salías a vender tu empresa y todo, ¿por dónde puedo cruzar? Pues decías por Pharr, a lo mejor le ha pasado a Beto, a alguien más, y, o sea, ¿a poco hay otro cruce aparte de Laredo? Y tantas cerquitas, o sea, era difícil, y era difícil convencer al cliente que se viniera por acá, y ahora ya lo ven como otra opción, y la meta siempre ha sido eso, no decir que eres mejor que uno, mejor que otro, pero es ponerte ahí como otra opción para el cruce fronterizo.
Sí, una mejor opción con más servicios.
Ya ha funcionado. Y
Sí.
por eso es importante tener las alianzas con las asociaciones locales y eso, porque ellos, a la hora que salen y venden los servicios de sus empresas, están vendiendo los servicios del puente indirectamente o hasta a veces directamente, ¿no? So,
Y sí, y sumando lo que dice el chairman, de hecho, los gobiernos, tanto tejanos como tamaulipecos, nos apoyan en ambos lados a promover nuestro puente, ¿verdad? Porque es el crecimiento y es, como dice el director del puente, es el único puente que en 13 o 15 años se ha desarrollado. Entonces, a nivel entre México y Estados Unidos, no ha habido otro puente que esté construyendo binacionalmente. Y nosotros somos nuevamente los primeros después de 10, 15 años. Digo, es lo único que puedo comentar, ¿verdad?
Gracias, Cheque.
Sí, gracias.
Gracias.
Hasta por los
Gracias.
slides.
Gracias de nuevo, Ezequiel. Y por eso decimos, ¿dónde está México? Where's Mexico? Porque esa fue la primera pregunta que nos hicieron cuando empezamos con nuestros planes. Pero agregando un poquito más a lo que habla Ezequiel, el nearshoring. We've been hearing about a lot of nearshoring, and it's nothing new. In the past, we had the twin plants where you had your manufacturers closer to your suppliers, and you had Mexico and the U.S. doing business closer together. Then a lot of these companies went overseas. As we know, freight costs have driven those companies to want to come back to their origins, and a lot of that's in Mexico. One of the issues or one of the challenges we're facing, and I'm not saying us as a city, I'm not saying us as a bridge, but as a state of Tamaulipas, not necessarily Texas, is, Tamaulipas is nowhere on the map. If you look at Index Nacional, that's the Manufacturers Association for Mexico at the national level, which we're getting further involved with here in the last couple of years. There's 0% considered for the state of Tamaulipas. If you look at the state of Nuevo León, you look at Coahuila, you look at maybe Jalisco, you look in those general areas, you see a bigger percentage of those companies that might be migrating. Now, the numbers, they speak for themselves too. I think there's companies that are already migrating maybe to Matamoros. Some of them are being considered for Reynosa. But as far as the high numbers, so that we're at a disadvantage. So that's why it's so imperative that we continue these operations, that we continue putting our money where our mouth is and actually putting skin in the game. And that's why it's so important to say what we're saying, investing big for faster trade. That's our value proposition. Nuestra propuesta de valor es básicamente invertir en grande para un cruce comercial más rápido, más eficiente. Y seguimos haciendo los enlaces, como les mencionaba, así como vamos aprendiendo de una asociación, por ejemplo, maquiladoras o agentes aduanales o transportistas. En este caso ahora también mucho con lo que viene el sector energético. También estamos viendo otras nuevas asociaciones, nuevos grupos de interés, clústeres que representan a toda la cadena de suministro, y con eso vamos a poder llegar aún más allá de donde esperábamos. Pero es mucho trabajo y por eso se requiere estar en todas partes. Como dicen, si no te vendes, si no estás, if you're not doing your marketing, if your strategy is not in line, you're going to fail. So I think we have a great team and everybody's doing their part. Everybody pulls their weight, and we're excited again for what the future holds. And with that, I believe we have a couple of more slides, correct, Vincent? So, Mande?
So what I'm interpreting, we need some more lobbying going on the Mexican side to promote more businesses. That's
Absolutely, yes, sir. That would be more on the marketing side
the
of things,
marketing side of
the
it.
promotional side.
Right.
And that's why it's important. I have a meeting with Carla this afternoon for finance, for the budget for this coming fiscal year. So guess what, Carla? No, again, we've been blessed with the city, and we're fortunate to have leaders that allow us to do the work that we do. But obviously, as things continue to climb and move forward, and prices continue to increase, we need to keep our mind in the game, but at the same time be cognizant that there's budget constraints as well. So we're very cognizant of that. So we're good, Carla. So with that, and then the numbers, and I always talk about the numbers, how they speak for themselves. Back in 2022, our numbers came in at about $47 billion in trade, 46 point something. Right now, we're on our way to about $50 billion in trade by December of 2023. Even though that does not correlate specifically to actual crossings, that it tells you what Eddie was talking about earlier, that the crossings are continuing to increase anyway, that there is more business being done through this bridge. As we continue to attract more investments, obviously that indirectly will affect us in the way of crossings. So that's why, again, the nearshoring is so important. The more companies we bring closer to us, closer to the suppliers, closer to the end consumer, we will greatly benefit from that at the end of the day. And with that, some of the numbers, these are just some of the nationally recognized days and months for the international trade. One of the things that the city has been doing here in the last about a year or so, maybe 8 to 9 months, is, what are the recognitions that are out there? And even though there is no association for, let's say, land, ports of entry, or border crossings, just like there is like for maritime or for the ocean freight, there's some recognized days, and some of these do correlate with the numbers that we have on our trade numbers. For example, National Mango Month. So June is National Mango Month. Unbeknownst to us, Vanessa started doing some homework and we realized that this is a big deal for us because we are crossing a great deal of mangoes. And one of the things that we want to do is bring a proclamation forth here in the next city commission meeting to announce this, to make this announcement and make it count, as they say. And it's also Happy National Pineapple Day. So we are crossing a lot of pineapples. As you can see, about 22.3 million in 2022 that we crossed. And that is also, the day is June the 27th. So Happy National Pineapple Day as of yesterday. And also Happy National Logistics Day, that is today. And so again, a lot of things are happening in the trade world, and sometimes, these things fly under the radar or we don't capture them because we're so tied up with what we're doing with our work. But I believe it's very important for all of us that are in this business, and we all represent a small parte de esa cadena of that supply chain that we recognize these days going forward. And again, with these, we do want to bring them forth to the city, the next city commission, for a proclamation. That it? Okay. So that's it. And then also just wanted to mention for July, there's a lot of stuff happening. One of the things that if you've seen our latest trade numbers, we are the #1 port of entry for produce in general. We continue to be the #1 port of entry for produce in general for about 6 or 7 years now. But July will bring us National Berries Month, National Blueberry Month. And why is that important? Because that is our #1 import right now. Believe it or not, berries. And the berry category, that is basically where we stand right now as our biggest import. So there's a lot of blueberry and berry stuff happening in the month of July. And then also a few Avocado Day as well. And I know that the city's working on the Avocado Fest. I know that the chamber's working on that. So that's going to be a big deal for us as well to represent. And with that, I think we can start moving forward into the administrative unless there's any further questions or any further clarification that's needed.
Any questions? No. Go ahead, move to administrative. Please.
So
We need a motion for the approval of the minutes for May 27.
Make a motion to approve.
A motion by Mr. Hernandez, second by Mr. Beas. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
I can take over the rest. Yes. So item 3B, discussion and action, if any, on 2023-2024 Texas International Produce Association, otherwise known as TIPA, membership directory for $1,000. We have been members of TIPA for a number of years. So this is just part of the complimentary stuff that we do with them.
So we need a motion. A motion by Mr. Hernandez. Second by Mr. Beas. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Item 3C, discussion and action, if any, on 2023-2024 Texas Trucking Association membership directory for $1,999. We are already members. We just joined this last year. So this is just another complimentary part of the package.
Okay. Need a motion for that. I make the motion, Mr. Beas, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 3D, discussion and action, if any, on U.S.-Mexico Business Association or AEM, Asociación de Empresarios Mexicanos, corporate membership for $1,000. For this one, I'd like to call Francisco Peña or Paco Peña. This is something new for us. This is something we've been talking to them for a while. We've known about them for a long time, but it wasn't until recently that we started kind of, realizing that we can align a lot of things with them. Specifically on the nearshoring. As a matter of fact, today at 5:30, and Paco will probably mention it, today at 5:30, the City of Pharr Economic Development Corporation will be participating in a virtual seminar regarding nearshoring. And this is the EDCs, not just for Pharr, for also McAllen will be there. I believe Westlaco and Edinburgh will be there as well. But with that, I'd just like to call, again, Mr. Peña, just to give you a quick rundown of what this organization does and how we can benefit from it in the future. Okay.
Thank you. Good afternoon,
Good afternoon.
ladies and gentlemen. Well, first of all, I would like to say that it's an honor to be here in front of you and to let you know about what is AEM. AEM started as Asociación de Empresarios Mexicanos. It was founded back in 1994 with the NAFTA. This is an association that was created to aid and help Mexicans to bring business into Texas. Eventually, this AEM became a U.S.-Mexico Business Association. So it's no longer more just for Mexicans, but it's for U.S. and Mexico entrepreneurs. Today, we're going to have a great event. We're going to have the fourth strongest EDCs of the RGV put together. We're having Edinburgh, McAllen, Mission, and Pharr. And I said it in that order based on the alphabetical order, not in any particular order other than that. And what we're doing with that is we're talking about how is the nearshoring affecting us, in a good way, of course, and how we are partnering with Mexico. Luis Bazan just mentioned something. Tamaulipas is not even mentioned in the map of nearshoring. And to give you an idea, I am a member of the Index Nacional, which is the National Association for Maquiladoras. I'm also a member of Reynosa Index and Querétaro Index as well. And what we do with that is we receive information all over the place. And one of the reasons that we are seeing in Tamaulipas, we're not seeing new companies coming into the place, we're seeing expansions, big expansions. Like I have one right now working on, I'm a NAFTA or USMCA attorney, and what I do is that. This is my bread and butter for everything that we do. So the EAM fits into this matter. We're bringing, in this particular case, we're inviting the Pharr Bridge to be part of this association to help transition and help us understand better the AEM. This event has over 120 members of individuals registered for this conference this afternoon. It's 6:30 Texas time to 8, which is 5:37 in Mexico time or Central Mexico. I invite you to visit AEM website. You will find that we have chapters in San Antonio where everything began. And then we have the McAllen, it is called the Greater McAllen area, not the RGV or anything like that. It's the Greater McAllen area for marketing purposes, but it encompasses everything that I just mentioned, at least the 4 EDCs that are going to be present with us today. And the AEM has also chapters in Houston, the Woodlands, in California, Los Angeles, Chicago. We had one in Miami, which is we're trying to reopen. But in Mexico, we have Mexico City. We have a representation office in Monterrey. We have a big chapter in Guadalajara and Guanajuato. We recently went to Guanajuato, and when I say recently, it's kind of November. We went to San Miguel de Allende, not on vacations. Well, we did a little bit. But we also took with us the Mission Chamber went with us. So we invite from time to time different associations from the border or from inland, I will call it that way, to come and visit Mexico and express what you offer, what you have to offer to the Mexican business individuals, entrepreneurs that wants to come into the US and do business. So what we help is do soft lending from the economical perspective, from the financial perspective, and from the cultural and more personal perspective. It's not the same. I was raised and born in Mexico and in the US, so I'm kind of like bilingual and bicultural. I know what just in time means, not the ahorita time means. So things like that are very important for our Mexican entrepreneurs that are coming in this way to learn the culture aspect as well, not only the business aspect. So this is what AEM stands for, bringing and bridging the gaps between 2 countries and trying to make entrepreneurial men and women get together to do business. And in this particular case, I think the bridge is one good element that we can say we can partner and bring us and bridge us together. So this is my presentation. Any questions?
Do you have any other bridges here locally?
I'm sorry?
Are there any other bridges
You will be
involved
the
in this
first.
already, sponsoring?
You will be the first, but we won't say that.
All right.
Yes, you are the
That was my
first.
question.
I
We'll be the
have,
first, and it won't be the first for us being the first, so we like that.
yeah, and,
So,
and to tell you the truth, it's about trust. I am very picky with my membership. I don't pick anybody or just, we pay you the membership and you will, no. We have to bet who comes in into this association because we have burned bridges in the past. And trust me, we don't want to burn this bridge. Literally.
well, we appreciate you, and I think one of the things that I've told Luis in the past is we want to be at the point where the decisions makers are at. We are the connection of multiple agencies and multiple industries, and we're just in a section of miles, and they all connect there. So we're happy to help and do whatever we can to help any industry.
Thank
for that
you.
matter.
And we're looking to partner with you guys because that way I think we have a good thing brewing. Thank you very much.
All right. Appreciate you, Mr. Peña. Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Gracias de nuevo, Francisco.
So we need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
A motion by Mr. Hernandez. Second by Mr. Beas. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. And if there's nothing else, we just need a motion to adjourn. Mr. Kiranit?
I'll make a motion.
Yeah, Mr. Hernandez?
Right on time.
Second, Mr. Campero?
1
All in
o'clock.
favor? Aye.
Ended it right on the money, 1 o'clock. Thank you very much. Have a great day.